The film begins with a German family on vacation in France. Around them, riots are breaking out, caused by rising prices and unemployment. But the family doesn't seem worried at all, since they're safely inside their bulletproof car. These protests are about the poor fighting for their rights, yet the film immediately shows the contrast, how the rich remain untouched and protected, even in chaos. The family consists of John, his wife Esther, their young daughter Alba, and teenage son Philip. They're wealthy, carefree, and far removed from the struggles happening outside. The story clearly sets up a conflict between the rich and the poor, between comfort and desperation. Every summer, the family visits their luxurious villa in the French countryside, enjoying a lavish lifestyle filled with fine food, comfort, and leisure. Everything about their life appears perfect: beautiful home, plenty of luxury, and a seemingly loving marriage between John and Esther. Then, the film shifts to a hotel scene where we see the other side of society. Hotel staff members are cleaning a room, but their actions are disturbing. A housekeeper secretly tries on a guest's undergarments, and a waiter urinates into a guest's wine. These moments reveal their hatred and resentment toward the wealthy. Later, Esther makes a dinner reservation at the same hotel. When she and her family arrive, the staff immediately recognize them as rich guests, the very kind of people they despise. Among these workers, one woman stands out: Theodora, a character who soon becomes central to the story. That evening, the family enjoyed a lavish dinner, once again highlighting the gap between rich and poor. When the waitress asked if they'd like drinks, John agreed, a small decision that unknowingly marked the beginning of their downfall. Meanwhile, at the hotel, Theodora and her co-worker were seen planning something. Her partner intentionally hurt Theodora's hand with a tool, leaving a visible mark. Later that night, while driving through a quiet road, John suddenly hit the brakes. He thought he'd run someone over. On the roadside, they spotted Theodora, sitting with a bleeding hand. Panicked, John believed he had accidentally hit her, unaware that it was a setup. Theodora had staged the whole scene to draw them in. John wanted to take her to a hospital, but Esther refused, not wanting their vacation ruined or the situation to get complicated. Instead, they brought Theodora home, treated her wound, and offered her a place to rest for the night. She remained silent and polite, giving no reason to suspect her intentions. Before going to bed, Esther left some money on the table as compensation. John wasn't happy about it. He felt she deserved more help, while Esther believed a few bills were enough to solve the problem. The next morning, Theodora was gone. She had taken the money and left after bathing in the pool. This scene makes the film's theme even clearer. To the rich, a poor person's pain is just an inconvenience, something money can fix. Esther could have taken her to a hospital, but chose to pay her off instead. Later that day, Theodora returned, shocking John. She complimented their home and lifestyle, mentioning that she lived in a small, crowded neighborhood. She explained she had been fired from her job because of her hand injury. It was considered unhygienic. John was surprised and said, "They can't just fire you for that." But Theodora replied, "That's how it works here." The line perfectly captures the film's ongoing message: a world where inflation, unemployment, and inequality push the poor to the edge, while the rich remain untouched. Theodora tells them that the little money Esther gave wasn't enough to survive until she finds another job. She then boldly asks, "You're here to relax, not to clean. Why not hire me as your maid?" John offers her extra cash to make her leave, but Esther decides to hire her instead, something Theodora clearly wanted. Though she pretends to be grateful, her intentions are dark from the start. That night, she begins to manipulate the children, especially Philip, the teenage son, who quickly becomes fascinated by her. She even tries to teach little Alba a lighter trick, though the girl refuses. John remains uneasy about having a stranger in the house, but Esther insists she needs the help. John woke up in the middle of the night to a strange noise. When he went downstairs, he saw that Theodora had hurt an animal. She said to John, "They're a plague. You must poison the martens before they take over the house." The animal is still barely alive, and Theodora urges John to put it out of its pain. Reluctantly, he does. This moment feels small, but marks the beginning of something sinister. The next morning, while cleaning, Theodora secretly leaves her lighter in Alba's room, planting small traps in their peaceful life. Alba eventually finds it and starts trying out the trick Theodora once showed her. During their conversations, Theodora also teaches her a few French words with inappropriate meanings, showing her hidden malice. Later, Theodora goes to town and meets her old co-workers from the hotel. Each of them bears a scar just like Theodora's, hinting that they've all been part of similar schemes involving wealthy families. Meanwhile, John buys rat poison, and later, the family visits a bar. Philip spends some time with Theodora, and his attraction toward Theodora grows stronger. Theodora cleverly uses this, flirting and manipulating him, knowing how easy it is to control a teenager's mind. That evening, during dinner, we see her eating raw meat with disturbing pleasure. Later, the family hosts John's business partner, Aki, and his wife, Cora, and it's obvious there's tension between Cora and John, suggesting an affair. At the dinner table, Philip speaks about the hardships of poor people, possibly influenced by Theodora. Aki and John discuss business issues, revealing that John's career isn't as perfect as it seems, something he's been hiding from Esther. The movie begins to show that even the rich carry their own hidden problems, though they mask them well. The next day, they go boating, and Philip films Theodora playfully. On the beach, everyone goes swimming except Esther, who confides that she's afraid of water. She stays behind, trying to relax, but receives multiple work calls that frustrate her. Meanwhile, Theodora's hotel friends appear nearby, and she quietly steals Esther's phone. Little Alba witnesses it, but stays silent. Later, when the phone is missing, Theodora cleverly suggests taking Esther to buy a new one. Esther thanks her, unaware of the manipulation. Afterward, Theodora offers Esther a cigarette. Esther doesn't smoke, but Theodora persuades her to try. Slowly, Esther begins to open up, sharing her exhaustion and desire to disappear for a while. Theodora replies calmly, then disappear. In that moment, Esther makes a fatal mistake, revealing her emotional weakness to a stranger who plans to use it against her. Slowly, Theodora begins targeting John as well, using his interests to get closer. She learns that he's passionate about cycling, so one morning, when John is about to go for a ride, she pretends to share the same hobby. John invites her along. They stop near a small orchard where Theodora casually picks fruit and eats it, clearly trying to seduce him. But John, being older and more self-controlled, doesn't fall for her that easily. Later, Theodora subtly tells Esther that she should take care of herself and think about her own happiness. This plants doubt in Esther's mind. Meanwhile, little Alba, still uneasy about Theodora, finally tells her mother that she once saw Theodora stealing Esther's phone from her bag. Esther doesn't believe her daughter. She still confronts Theodora, who becomes nervous but turns the accusation back on Alba, asking, "Do you have some complaint about me? Why are you accusing me of this?" Embarrassed, Alba walks away, and Esther even apologizes to Theodora for doubting her. She assumes Alba is just making things up like a jealous child. Theodora keeps her wound open on purpose, never letting it heal, to maintain Esther's guilt and sympathy. By now, Esther has started feeling comfortable with her. One night, she even invites Theodora to dinner, gives her one of her own dresses, and treats her like a friend for the first time. During dinner, Esther opens up about her life, her husband, children, beautiful home, and money. Yet she confesses she still feels unhappy. Theodora tells him that everyone has the right to be happy. Not all happiness can be bought with money, and this right belongs to you too. You also have the right to be happy. Then Theodora claims she found Esther's missing phone in Alba's drawer, making it seem as if Alba might be jealous. She even advises Esther not to scold Alba over it. This clever move earns Theodora even more trust, planting herself firmly inside Esther's emotional space. Soon after, Theodora invites Esther to a party. Esther hesitates, but eventually agrees. At the bar, Theodora introduces her to her old co-workers, including Amber, another wealthy vacationer who had also been drawn into their trap before. The night turns wild, and Esther meets Lucian, a man showing clear interest in her. What Esther doesn't know is that Lucian is also part of Theodora's group. For Esther, though, the attention feels thrilling. In the morning, the group heads to the beach. Despite her fear of water, Esther lets Lucian coax her into swimming, and to her surprise, she enjoys it. For the first time in a long while, she feels alive, believing she's finally starting to live her own life. But in the midst of all this, a woman named Amber was pulled into the water by someone, and Esther was completely unaware of it. When Esther comes out of the water moments later, she sees everyone grilling and eating meat. The meat looks fresh, and she enjoys it without question. When she asks about Amber, they casually say, "She left." But nearby, Amber's belongings are still on the sand. Clearly, something terrible happened to her. Back home, Esther feels strangely happy, telling John that she hasn't enjoyed herself this much in years. Later, she notices Aki visiting their house, but John avoids him and even refuses to take his calls. This makes Esther suspicious. Soon, John vents to Theodora, saying he's tired of trying to please Esther. She's impossible to satisfy, he says bitterly. She always wants control. Theodora sees her opening. She softly tells him, "You're strong and smart, John. Esther isn't anything without you." Her words begin to create cracks in the marriage. Meanwhile, Alba grows lonelier. Her father is stressed, her mother is distracted, and her brother barely talks to her. She keeps a small frog as her pet, her only friend in the house. She tries again to tell her mother that she saw Theodora steal the phone, but Esther still doesn't believe her. Disheartened, Alba retreats further into herself. Later that evening, Esther confronts John about what he's hiding. He finally admits that his research paper turned out to be wrong, and now his company plans to fire him. Frustrated and ashamed, John lashes out, accusing Esther of caring only about her own career and success. Esther stays quiet, but the pain shows on her face. After their argument, Theodora gives Esther a note from Lucian, claiming he's completely obsessed with her. The attention flatters Esther, and for the first time, she smiles. It seems she's found a way to escape her unhappiness, even if it's the wrong one. The next morning, Esther quietly leaves home with Lucian, not caring that she's cheating on John. When John and the kids realize she's gone, he reassures them that she's just taking some time alone. He invites Theodora to join them for breakfast. Alba is upset. John had forced her to throw away her pet frog, but Theodora comforts her, saying they'll find her another animal soon. Then Theodora tells John that one of her friends wants to visit, and he agrees to let her invite them over. We then see Alba playing with the lighter and muttering the same rude words Theodora once taught her, a sign that Theodora's influence has already taken hold. Soon, Theodora's friends arrive, the same people from before. That same day, Cora visits John to show him a note from Esther, saying she's gone away for a few days and will return when she feels better. John feels uneasy. Cora warns him, saying, "That girl, Theodora, she's becoming too involved with your family." But John brushes her off. Before leaving, Cora tries to get close to John, confirming that the two once had an affair. That night, Theodora enters Alba's room, and now the little girl, who once feared her, seems to like her. The manipulation is complete. One night, while Theodora is in her room, Philip sneaks outside, obsessed with her. He starts taking her photos, but Theodora catches him and throws him out. Angry and embarrassed, Philip grabs his bike and speeds away. Meanwhile, Esther enjoys her time with Lucian, unaware of the danger. Late at night, she opens the fridge to find only meat inside. When she asks, Lucian says he loves barbecues and parties. Esther doesn't think much of it. At home, Theodora tells John she's going to a birthday party and invites him, but he refuses, feeling uneasy about her and her friends. Alba finally learns the lighter trick and proudly shows it to her father, who takes it away, calling it dangerous. Upset, she leaves. Elsewhere, Esther continues spending time with Lucian. He takes her to a party that instantly feels wrong. She meets a woman who reveals that Lucian and the others all work at the same hotel, Theodora's friends. Realizing the trap, Esther panics and hides her fear. In the washroom, she sees blood filling the sink and runs out, only to open a door and find a woman consuming something disturbing. Esther is horrified. They're cannibals feeding on the rich. When she tries to flee, Theodora blocks her way. Shaken, Esther whispers, "I thought you were my friend." Theodora replies coldly, "I was never your friend or your servant. You rich people look down on us, but your world runs because of us. There are many more of us than you, so maybe it's you who should be afraid." After that, Lucian approaches Esther, who already knows her fate. Realizing she's about to die, she closes her eyes as he bites into her neck and she collapses to the floor. The scene shifts to John, who wakes up to the noise of Theodora and her friends partying loudly by the pool. Irritated, he confronts her, asking what's going on. Theodora calmly replies that she didn't want to wake him, but John warns her to ask him before doing anything next time. After she leaves, Cora, who secretly spent the night with John, tells him to get rid of Theodora and her friends before things go too far. Later, as John walks back to his room, he hears strange animal sounds coming from the attic. Thinking it's the Martins again, he goes up to check. But when he turns around, Theodora and her group are standing behind him, watching silently. In her hand is the same iron tool John once used to stop an animal's suffering. She smirks and says, "I told you, they're a disease. Don't let them multiply." Her words clearly refer to the rich, and in that moment, she attacks John, ending his life. By morning, Philip returns home. He finds Theodora, her friends, and even Alba resting near the pool as if nothing happened. Hungry, he heads to the kitchen, unaware that his life has just been destroyed. He heats some meat and starts eating, but suddenly bites into something hard. When he spits it out, he realizes it's his mother's ring. In the final scene, Theodora and her group drive away, taking Alba with them. What happens to her next remains unknown, leaving the story on a haunting, chilling note. The story of this film isn't hard to understand. The injustices happening in our world are visible to everyone, yet most people choose to stay unaware. It's not only the poor who suffer, even the rich have their own struggles. This world is a beautiful place, but perhaps we humans have made it difficult for ourselves. In simple words, we've built a prison of wealth, fame, and greed. It may look like success from the outside, but in reality, it's a trap.